Boys and girls, Greg from the Scary Spirits podcast here to make you another cocktail. This week's cocktail is the chocolate cake shot. And as always, it is the featured cocktail in today's episode. We start with our little shaker because it's a shot with ice. Then we're going to take some. The recipe calls for whipped cream vodka or vanilla vodka. You can also substitute cake vodka. So that's what I'm using. 1.5 ounces of cake vodka or vanilla vodka or whipped cream vodka. But it's a chocolate cake shot. Use cake vodka if you've got it. Am I right? 1.5 ounces. Then, hazelnut liqueur. Delicious. 1.5 ounces. Delightful. Then the recipe calls for 1/2 ounce heavy cream. I do not have any heavy cream, so we're going to skip that. And it says if you don't have heavy cream, you can omit it. It will taste delicious either way. Heavy cream simply smooths out the shot and lessens the taste of the alcohol. I don't care about the taste of the alcohol. Then we shake. Wow. All right. Then we take our large shot glass, which we rimmed earlier with a little cocoa. I don't know if you can see it. And we pour our chocolate cake shot in. Strain it, really. Next, let's garnish with some whipped cream. Delicious. And maybe sprinkle with some of our cocoa. Look at that, boys and girls. The chocolate cake shot. Looks delicious and fattening. Yeah, it's pretty good. There you go. Chocolate cake shot. Thanks for watching, boys and girls. Hope you enjoy the podcast. See ya.
Today, if you are listening to this podcast on the day it comes out, I'm a year older. Or as we like to say, I've leveled up, because that sounds way more badass. And what better way to celebrate this momentous occasion than to watch this week's movie on the Scary Spirits podcast, Happy Birthday. The movie is much better than we thought it would be, and we do get to see Steven Tyler. But I'm just going to mention that if Greg ever throws me a celebration like the one in this movie, we probably won't be friends anymore. Anyway, happy birthday to me, and cheers to leveling up.
Welcome to the Scary Spirits Podcast. Please be advised that the presenters may use adult language and/or discuss adult situations. This podcast is not intended for younger listeners or those that may be easily offended. So, if you're ready, let's go.
Hello, everyone. I'm Greg.
Hi, I'm Karen.
And welcome to the Scary Spirits Podcast, the podcast that combines the two very different but highly compatible worlds of scary films and alcoholic spirits.
What could possibly go wrong?
Indeed. How are you, birthday girl?
I'm feeling festive.
Are you? Because
How
it's
are
your
you?
birthday?
Because it's my birthday.
Let me be one of the first to wish you a happy birthday, Karen.
Thank you. How are you doing, Greg?
I'm fabulous because it's your birthday.
You're happy I made it another trip around the sun?
You've leveled up.
Yes, I have.
You're one more level than me once again because you're way older.
Yeah, don't let that slip out. Just now I'm way, way older.
You're way older than me.
Yes, but I'm still here.
Congratulations, Karen.
Thank you.
How about that horror March Madness bracket, Karen? Crazy, huh?
You mean another big news?
Yeah, another big news besides Karen's birthday. This is the championship week in the great horror movie March Madness bracket.
You're going down.
I may be, Karen. I just may be. So we were at the championship week, boys and girls, and we need you to click on the link and all our socials and website and whatnot and vote for the champion.
Me.
Should we recap, Karen?
Well, I think that might be helpful.
My film that made it to the end is my number 4 seed, An American Werewolf in London.
That's a fine film.
It took out Ready or Not, which was the number 5 seed. Then it took out Trick or Treat, which was my number 1 seed. And then it took out The Omen, Karen, my number 2 seed.
Really? That's a good one.
Yeah. I'm not very happy, Karen. Your film that made it to the finals is, what do you think? Do you have an idea, Karen? You must
probably
have
the Rocky
idea.
Horror Picture Show.
Ding, 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 ding. It is the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Your number 5 seed, Karen. Lots of upsets in both brackets, but yours is a number 5. Mine's number 4. So the Rocky Horror took out number 4, Sleepy Hollow, in the first round. It took out Psycho, your number 1 seed, in the second round. That was a shocker. And then in the third round, it took out the number 3 seed, Lost Boys. So it took out your number 1 and 3 seed.
What was 3?
Lost Boys.
Oh, yeah. I had high hopes for Lost Boys. I don't know where my Gen X people are.
Dracula was your 2 seed. It was taken out by Carrie, and then Carrie was taken out by the Lost Boys.
I bet that one was close, though. That was probably my closest race, I'd guess.
So in the championship game, Karen, we have my number 4 seed, An American Werewolf in London, and your number 5 seed, The Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Well, at least it's pretty even. I don't have to take out your number 1 seed to win.
Or my number 2. I thought my number 2, The Omen, would surely win, but no.
Well, they're very different films.
They are, but An American Werewolf in London and Rocky Horror, most alike of probably any of our picks. But anyway, so boys and girls, we need you to, vote for your favorites.
Mine.
Your favorite film, not your favorite host.
Oh, man.
And enter your email address if you haven't already. And you could win a Scream 6 Blu-ray.
You don't have to enter your email address to vote. And even if you haven't voted at any point up until now, you can still vote.
Yes, but thank you to all those who did vote and brought us to this titanic struggle at the end.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you very much. There's no sarcasm in my voice at all.
It's interesting to see how people view films. What we picked as the best did not make it to the end.
Well, the two that made it are fun. People like fun, I guess.
Well, not us.
All right, so please vote, and we will have the results next week, Karen.
Very exciting.
All right, birthday girl, I believe this was your film, was it not?
It was.
And what film have you chosen for us?
I've chosen the 2016 movie Happy Birthday, and I think it has an exclamation point at the end.
All right. Happy birthday.
Yes.
Any reason you chose this film, Karen? Is there any reason at all?
Well, try to follow me, Greg.
Go on.
It is my birthday when this comes out.
Oh, okay. So you picked it because it's your birthday.
Yes, it's totally selfish and self-centered.
As all our picks are, I believe. I think that's the point. Might you have a cocktail for us, Karen?
I do.
And what would that be?
The chocolate cake shot.
I think I see what you did there. I wonder if they make a cheesecake shot. God,
Yeah.
I might pick that for my birthday. How would one make a chocolate cake shot, Karen?
Well, if you'd like to rim your glass, you can dip it into cream cheese icing and then dip it into cocoa powder, which I did not do. I thought I had
rim
cream
it however
cheese
you
icing.
want. You don't have to use cream cheese icing.
No, but if you have icing and sprinkles or icing, cocoa adds to the chocolate flavor, but you can make it festive.
It does.
And then
Not
you're going
enough.
to add 1.5 ounces of whipped cream vodka or vanilla vodka, 1.5 ounces of hazelnut liqueur, and 1/2 ounce of heavy cream to a cocktail shaker. Add ice and shake for 10 to 15 seconds. You pour it into shot glasses because this makes 2.
Oh, does it?
And garnish with a little whipped cream
glass.
and a dash of cocoa powder, which is optional.
Did it say it was made 2 shots?
Yeah, it says it.
I missed that part because
I told you at the end of last one. Yeah, I didn't have a big enough shot glass, so it's just in a regular cup.
I did. I haven't had enough room for the whipped cream and everything.
Yeah, I put whipped cream on mine. And I'm not even going to wait to tell you. It absolutely tastes like chocolate cake.
What vodka did you use?
Vanilla.
Okay.
Did you?
Mm-mm.
Just regular? Or...
I used cake vodka.
Oh, you have cake vodka?
Yes.
Oh, well,
Which
I think it tastes...
It didn't mention in the recipe for, substitutions. It says if you don't have vanilla or it says if you don't have whipped cream vodka to use vanilla or...
That's all it says, but you used cake.
I used cake because I had it. I'm like, well, duh, it's a chocolate cake shot. I think cake would be a good substitution, even though I had vanilla.
I don't know. Maybe it's just the way the vanilla mixes with the hazelnut, but I taste chocolate cake 100%.
If I would have used the vanilla, I'd be out of vanilla. So that's why I used the cake. I had more of it. But personally, I could use more chocolate, but we'll get to it much later. And I even did the whole whip topping with the chocolate on top and rimmed the glass with chocolate. And
I like it.
It ain't bad, but I don't know. It's not quite chocolate cake to me. But anyway, moving on. Should we give our friends and listeners time to make their own chocolate cake?
To go whip up their chocolate cake?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Hold on. And we're back.
Yes, we are.
Karen, might you have a brief synopsis for us?
I do.
Go on. Tell us all a birthday story.
When 2 friends embark on a journey to the seediest parts of Mexicali for a birthday celebration, They quickly realize their trip has taken a dangerous turn that involves sex, drugs, torture, and a ransom involving the Mexican cartel.
Thank you, Karen. We are a match. All right, Karen, tell us everything you really enjoyed about this birthday movie of your choosing in celebration of you
leveling up. Yes. Well, first and foremost, it was free on Amazon Prime.
It was free.
So that's always a plus. Take that.
As long as you're a subscriber to Amazon Prime,
true.
It's free.
Right. I thought the acting was good. A little uneven sometimes, but overall good. The sets were good. Looked like Mexico to me. I thought the music was good. It had Quentin Tarantino vibes to me, like Fringe.
It did.
Like maybe someone was trying to imitate him or was heavily influenced by him. Even the way it was shot, the colors, just the whole thing kind of felt not as good as him, but definitely had those vibes to me. Something I thought was good and kind of frustrating was you couldn't tell what was real and what wasn't. There was a lot of hallucinations going on. So it was hard to sometimes know what was actually happening, which at first was
at
good.
Moments. There was a couple
and then it got a little
like
repetitive. But, I thought it's story's okay, but I kind of figured it out about halfway through. I was just, this is just, you kind of sense it. And I'll tell, if I remember, I'll tell you where I was like, this isn't, but it is horrific at times in either the hallucinations or I couldn't tell what they were acting out and what they weren't. So, but at times it's intense. And that's pretty much all I have. I will say it was better than I thought it was going to be. I went in with a very low bar of what I thought it would be. Is there anything you liked about it?
Well, I pretty much agree with everything you said. I, as well, went into it with a very low expectation. It exceeded my expectations. I thought the acting was good. Sets were good. I made comments in my notes several times that the music was good. I wrote that guy who plays Brady, he's a good looking kid. I did write that down once.
And he seemed very natural to me.
Yeah. For people I don't recognize from other things, but I haven't seen a lot of modern movies. This is kind of a modern film, newer film.
There's a couple of people that looked familiar to me in it.
There's two people I would say looked kind of familiar, but I couldn't tell you where I knew them from. But as a cast of 10, right? It's a fairly small.
Yeah, it wasn't hard to follow who was who and what was happening.
I didn't recognize like most of them. Like I didn't, then it's like, oh, I know that dude on any of them. And they were all, I thought, very good. So
there's also sequel potential.
Yes, there is. Yeah, there is. In August, there's sequel potential.
I don't think they would do it, but there is potential.
Yeah, I wasn't mad when I didn't even know it was included on Amazon Prime. I had it on my watch list because I know we've been planning to do this for a while. So, but then when I clicked on it, I'm like, oh, okay, watch now. It's included. Awesome. I don't have to spend another $4.59 or whatever the hell it is. It's fine. I think that's all I got. I did like, as you said, it's kind of Tarantino. There's lots of words to read in it, but lots of them go by really quick when they're describing things. You see words on the screen, describing what they're talking about, kind of. I kind of like that. It was interesting. Was Steven Tyler nominated for an Oscar for this film?
I don't think anyone was. It's
he wasn't bad. He was pretty good.
He was all right. I mean, they played into what we expect his personality is.
We're talking about Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, boys and girls, in case you don't know who that is.
I mean, we don't personally know him, but he plays a character that seems like it wouldn't have been much of a stretch, I thought. But he still did a good job. He wasn't distracting as Steven Tyler.
No, he wasn't. And they did work in an Aerosmith song.
They did.
And I was kind of surprised with the one they picked, but I wasn't mad at it.
No, I like that one.
I like this. I like it, but I mean, maybe I should not be surprised because that's when like
Yeah.
he was running the show for real because everyone else had left.
Right. So they are going
So
to,
he probably had he didn't probably have to share the publishing or anything with any other members of the band for that song.
and maybe they wouldn't have agreed to do it anyway.
True.
They are a little testy at times with each other.
True that. All right. Anything you didn't like, Karen?
Well, like I said, it was a little what's real, what's not, got a little old for me. And I did kind of figure it out halfway. I wasn't 100% sure, but I was
halfway.
I said something in my notes and I was like, yeah, something's wrong here. Maybe a little longer. I wasn't 100% sure, but I was in the 90s. Like I was, even at the end, I was like, this is just, she's going to wake up or what, like, spoilers. But whatever. So I thought the writing was pretty bad.
Really?
Yeah. How many times do you have to say it's his birthday? How many times do we have to talk about someone shitting their pants? I mean, it was repetitive and just, there were times where I'm like, ooh, not good writing for me. Plus it was, I thought, homophobic a little bit. They kept bringing up things and everything was, and transphobic. It was racist a little and sexist. And it was just maybe a bro movie or something. I don't know. I just, there were parts of it that just, I don't know what the point was. I think they could have done it without a lot of that stuff. I thought it was a little too long. I mean, it's only 90 minutes, so it's not that bad, but it just seemed like wrap it up. He's been in the room for a long time. There's one point, and I'm only going to say it now because I don't know if I'll remember to say it when it happens because I'm drinking a chocolate cake shot. And it's a bit of a spoiler, but not so much, where he tells the story of the kid in the padded room that happens to be him and he ripped off his toenail and blah, blah, blah. How would his friend know that he was going to do that? Do you know what I mean? In order to escape or whatever. Because you see, he did that.
I don't know that it's that important.
Or if that was part of a hallucination that wasn't real, I don't know.
No, I don't think it was that important to the story.
But it just is. How did he know? It is because if everything doesn't go according to plan.
No. That's minor.
He got away at that point.
Did he?
Well, but they were expecting that to happen, though. That's the thing. So it was just weird.
They were expecting him to get away. Well, I don't want to go into it too far because it's early in the podcast and I don't want to ruin it for anyone who hasn't seen it. That's why we do this part first, Karen.
It was also a bit preachy, I thought, sometimes with the gremlin thing being about.
You just said it was racist. Now you're bringing up shit preaching about racism.
It's racist when it comes to Mexicans, and it's preachy when it comes to African Americans.
Okay.
About Darth Vader and the gremlins, and it's fine, but it just seemed like he's trying to hammer something home a couple more than, it almost had a message how many times they were saying things like that. But then they were also talking about shitting your pants more often than they were talking about that. So I don't know if it's really driving anything home or what, or just trying to make them seem like they were in the movie business and had the moral high ground in the movie business. I don't know. But no, I didn't like the writing. And it was definitely, like I said, homophobic. Multiple stories about the evils of being homosexual.
Okay. I would argue that with you, but I'm not. Maybe I will when we get to it because I don't want to ruin it for people who haven't seen it.
Multiple things that could have been said in a different way. Didn't have to go that direction. That's all. What about you? Is there anything you didn't like?
Well, I kind of agree with you on the writing. One of the first things I said is there's a lot of F-bombs in this, and it's too much, right? And I've talked about this before when we saw Renfield and whatever. It's just whatever. Fuck. Whatever. It loses its impact. It's just silly when they do that. And I say fuck a lot, people, but like a lot, but I don't say it as much as people in these movies do. It's just, I don't know. It's too much. I don't know why they do it. It's not shocking. Everyone, that's the way people talk, I guess. So whatever. And I guess that's why they do it. The ending, I will say, I saw it later than you. I saw it at near the very end, right? Because there's kind of a double twist in this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I saw the double twist. I'm not sure I saw the first twist, but I did see the double twist coming. But I was hoping, I was kind of like thinking, well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. But
Yeah, like I said, you're about 90% sure, but you're
it
not
might have been a
100%.
better film if there wasn't the double twist.
Yes, I agree. I almost think it cheapened it. Like
A little bit. But we do have our happy ending. So
yes.
Because of that. So I'm not that mad at that.
No, but I think it would have been a better horror film if it had ended differently.
I agree it was a little long. The first time I checked, there were 13 minutes left. So I made it an hour and 17 minutes before I checked the time.
Pretty good. I made it about halfway.
I disagree with you all the racist shit. And I kind of disagree with the homophobic shit. I agree it to a certain extent, but that homophobic shit doesn't get the dude very much, does it? He ends up dead. So he kind of gets what he deserves.
True, but
it's almost like the horrors of being homophobic, if that makes sense.
That they have to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm just saying it just seemed unnecessary to me. Her story and, well, they were both her stories, but whatever. It doesn't matter. I think his friend was probably, I didn't
Brady's
like
friend, Tommy?
Brady's friend, Tommy, I think was not the best actor. I think he was uneven in some of it.
No, I thought they were fine.
It is a lot of peer pressure on display. I think it was serendipitous how it began, that he would be more willing to do a lot of these things against his better judgment, Brady.
All right. Anything else, Karen?
No. I was pleasantly surprised that I didn't hate it. It was better than I thought it would be.
No, I agree. I didn't hate it either. I wasn't mad at all. Maybe it's because I knew it was your birthday movie.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Before we give our cocktail rating, Karen, would you like to hear a review of the time way, way back in 2016?
Sure. What's in Critics Corner?
Well, first I have to tell you, this has a 50% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes and a 5.2 out of 10 on IMDb.
Well, that's consistent.
Mm-hmm. But what do you think about Google users? What do you think Google users said?
62%.
Oh, so close.
Dang it.
You're under this time, though. It was 68, Karen. 68.
Oh, that's not as close as I've been before.
I know, but when you started saying 60, I'm like, oh, shit, she's going to get it. But no. Sorry, Karen. Wow, wow. All right. The review I have is from bloodydisgusting.com. It's from August 26th, 2016. And this film came out September. So this is prior to the movie coming out. And I will paraphrase. Every once in a while, you may happen upon a strange little film that will surprise you in the most unlikely of ways. A film like this can be a low-budget thriller or even a silly monster movie introduced to you via late-night television, but its defiance of expectations is what makes it special. Casey Tebow's first feature film, Happy Birthday, is one of these rare cinematic gifts, wrapped in the guise of a standard Mexico-based thriller. Apparently there's a standard Mexico-based thriller, Karen. I didn't know that was a genre.
Know. Yes.
The glue that keeps Happy Birthday together is comprised of a cast of interesting and mostly believable characters, from the extremely memorable shaman drug dealer Casape Suka, played by Steven Tyler, to the shady duo of Texican and El Caballo. Every character feels alive in this Mexican free-for-all. Tebow's direction and storytelling skills shine brightly in this flawed but compelling thriller. It's quite obvious that a lot of love went into making this movie, not to mention respect for the craft of filmmaking. This is especially evident in the more meta aspects of the film, though it doesn't quite cover up a few shoddy scenes where a larger budget would have been greatly appreciated. Ultimately, the sheer originality behind Happy Birthday makes up for most of its cinematic blunders. The cast is great, and even those without any particular affinity for Steven Tyler or Aerosmith in general will certainly appreciate his role in this weird little movie. If you can get past the divisive twist ending, you'll be met with a surprisingly creative thriller with a lot more up its sleeve than you might initially realize.
No, I agree.
I agree. I agree with almost all of that, or if not all. This isn't bad for a first feature film, Karen. Just saying.
I agree. I think they did a good job casting. I think the cinematography is interesting. I would say their weak spot was the writing.
Yeah. And the director did write it. It's both written and directed by Casey Tebow.
Well, I liked his directing better than I liked his writing.
Okay. What kind of cocktail rating you want to give this film, Karen? And remember, boys and girls, the higher the cocktail rating, the worse the film. So one cocktail, or we've never given a film 0 cocktails, but we have given a film 1 cocktail, or a couple films 1 cocktail. 1 is the best, 5 is the worst.
It's a 3.
I agree.
It's a strong 3.
I agree. Strong 3. I probably would have given it a 2.5. No, I liked it. Maybe because I liked it much better than I thought I would.
Yeah, I think our bar was so low that we were impressed.
I'm like, shit, that's pretty good.
And I was expecting a complete
I like the
disaster.
Texican dude. I like the Cabello dude. Yeah. I liked Elgato too, but he was probably the weakest of the bunch. But he had a nice montage. He had a nice soliloquy there. So one mad. And probably that's where I kind of saw the twist coming when we were introduced to him. Probably, which is very late. So you probably beat me to the punch, Karen, because you're wicked smart.
No, it's not that.
You know, you're a doctor. And now you're like even older and wiser than me, much more than you were before.
True.
All right.
Although I'm forgetting more and more, so you're going to catch me.
Oh my God, Karen. I have to write shit down or else I forget it, Karen. I'm just saying. When I saw a commercial the other day where it says, Alzheimer's patients have to write things down to remember them. And I turned to my gift of a wife and I said, just so you know, I write shit down all the time. So be prepared. All right. Are we ready to get into the film scene by scene, Karen?
Let's go.
All right. We both watched this on Amazon Prime, we've already said, and it was included. So it's got that going for it. Happy Birthday from 2016, rated R, Karen, for nudity, violence, substance use, alcohol use, smoking, foul language, and sexual content.
It's all the biggies.
I know. All the good stuff, Karen. I'm surprised we didn't give this film a 1.
Well, there was potential.
All right. Then I wrote Orion, my favorite constellation, because it's an Orion production. You have a favorite constellation, Karen? Is it Cassiopeia?
I do not have a favorite constellation.
Orion's my favorite. Orion the Hunter. Remember that band, Karen? That super group?
Right. No, I've forgotten all those things. Did we just not say that?
That's true. You are a year older.
I'm way
wiser.
Older.
Wiser, though.
Not necessarily.
Film opens and we see a guy carrying a body. I assume it's a body in a blanket, and there's a cough, which I didn't even put together until just now, Karen. So that was good foreshadowing. And we have words to read 3 days earlier, and then that has it in Spanish, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Did you take Spanish, Karen?
Only in college for 1 semester.
Okay.
But I knew what it said. I could figure that part out because it's very similar to Latin. No, it's similar to Latin. So not that I remember much of that either, but.
All right. Helps. So then we see who we learn is Brady. I guess he's coming home. He starts looking through the mail and he receives a birthday card from his mom. goes in to see his girlfriend. And apparently he's home early and surprises her.
Yeah, so you know something bad happened. I thought the guy was in the room.
I did too.
Whenever they come home early, it's never good.
She was acting suspicious.
Yes.
I thought he was in the closet or under the
Yes,
bed or
I
something.
agree.
But
we find out he's adopted too.
Yeah. But he, coming home from a trip or whatever, and he wants to get romantic, Karen.
Yes.
But no, she gives him the Heisman.
But he talks about his trip and how he met someone from Run DMC who was adopted also. It's played multiple times that he's adopted.
And he goes to use the bathroom. And as he goes to the bathroom, we it's a nice shot, really, where he's in the bathroom and she's in the bedroom. We see both of them from the hallway. And she's kind of like, look, I thought he was under the covers for a minute, the way she was acting. But whatever. And then he's using the peeing or whatever. And there's a note on the toilet. And it says, she told me she had a boyfriend the morning after.
Yes, it's on the underside of the seat. So when he lifts up the seat, he can see it.
Yeah, I thought, well, that's a solid. That dude did him a solid. That's a good dude right there. So that lets us know that he's gone. And I wrote, apparently girlfriend cheated on him. He confronts her. She apologizes. She got really drunk. And she does seem remorseful, but I don't know.
She doesn't have much of a scene.
Kind of felt like this has happened before.
I didn't put that much thought into it.
Maybe every time she gets really drunk when he's gone, this happens. But whatever. She says she didn't know what she's doing. Yeah. Cry me a fucking river. So then we have credits.
So before we go any further,
she's probably sad because it's his fucking apartment and she's got to find a new place to live.
It's a nice apartment.
Bitch.
Very color coordinated blue. He does say multiple times throughout this film that he's adopted. But then he keeps saying he doesn't have a father, or his real father doesn't love him, and his real mother, real, I'm putting in quotations, doesn't have any money. But if he's adopted,
which explains the card, because it's from mom and she says like almost like PS, your father loves you too, whatever.
But yes, but if you're adopted, you have a family. But then later he talks about going through, it sounds like he just went through the system and was released when he was 18. But
so what it sounds like.
If you're adopted, you have a family.
Doesn't mean it's a good one, Karen.
No, but it does mean that you do have, unless he was but he kept saying those two were his real, meaning biological parents, not that's what he got adopted into. Anyway, it's just as a parent
maybe he can't let go.
As a parent who has adopted children, we are their family. And if a drug cartel was going to need money, they're going to come to us, his family, not his biological parents.
But you're equating his story with the story of your children, which are completely different. Could be completely different.
No, it's not. You're missing the point. He has he's considering two sets of parents. If he's adopted, he has adoptive parents and he has biological parents.
Yes.
Why would they be asking his biological father for money? He keeps saying he just met his dad. He doesn't know his dad. His dad's not going to let him.
They are. But he does mention that, but I'm not sure that's who they're asking for money.
He keeps saying that
it's a plot flaw in Tommy's script, Karen.
It is. That's all I'm saying. It's he has a family. They should have been asking a different father for money. I'm just saying it's partly the writing. The writing's not.
I'm also saying that, he might have an adoptive family. That doesn't mean they're a good family.
No, but they would never be asking forget it. We're going in circles. Go ahead. Go on.
No, I get what you're saying. I get it. I do. Credits, as I said, and then we see Brady and Tommy meeting for breakfast, I guess, because they're having breakfast foods. And I wrote, apparently they work in Hollywood, and there's lots of F-bombs right here. I wrote, too many F-bombs. They're just having fucking breakfast, Karen. You got to say fuck all the time you're having fucking breakfast.
But Tommy is a director. Brady works for a famous producer. Tommy's trying to get Brady to get him a job with the producer. It's kind of what
he says. He has a script. He's like, I got this script.
Yeah.
I got this story, whatever. Then Tommy says he pushes him like a gift, a little stuffed animal or some shit, Tijuana thing. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Some animal with a sombrero.
It's a cat.
And wants to take Brady to Mexico for his birthday.
Yeah. So he wants to take him. We'll just say it now. I don't know if they say it now or later, but he wants to go to Mexicali, which is the capital city of the state of Baja California in northern Mexico on the US border. And then I was like, is Mexicali safer than Tijuana?
Yeah, I would say so.
Its proximity to the United States has made it a very popular tourist destination, especially for day trippers. Growing violence has curtailed that traffic, although Mexicali remains safer than other large border cities like Tijuana.
Yeah, it's in Baja, California, the
That's
peninsula.
in Mexico.
Yeah, I know where it is.
Okay.
But that's where Cabo Wabo is, right?
I don't know.
Yes, it is.
I'm sure
Okay.
there are good and bad areas in every city.
I'm sure there are.
But
I know there are, Karen.
it does have cartel in there. It was listed on a website that I saw.
All right. So then we see them driving in a Range Rover, driving through Mexico.
Yeah, don't let them know you have money, but let's drive the Range Rover down.
Yes, Karen, see, that's why you're older and wiser. Right here I wrote, it is a good soundtrack. I don't know what song's playing. I only recognize one song in this film,
but I like the others.
They're all good.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, yeah, that's got
except the one they torture him with. I
can dance to it. Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that was the Mexican song. No,
the techno one.
No, thank you. So then there's a driving. They're talking about porn. I wrote.
See, I didn't write that. I said Tommy has his dad's credit card, and they're going to do drug roulette. So he's got
He does.
Pill bottle full of meds, and he shakes it and says, "Want to play drug roulette?" And I was like, "That is the worst." Like, no, but anyway.
Yeah, I didn't even.
But he's got his like dad's. What's the big? Is it Black American Express or something? That's I don't know. He says that's the only way my dad shows me he loves me.
This is Tommy, right?
Yes.
Okay. So then they're in Mexico. They go get some food at a booth or something.
They do say they have 3 days in Mexico.
And a girl comes up who is American but speaks Spanish, comes up and helps them order. Like I knew she was American from
it looks like she and her friend that come up in a minute, they're dressed like flight attendants. Did you notice that they had wings on their shirts?
Didn't notice the wings, no.
And they had white shirts and
white
navy skirts. But yeah, very flight attendant looking.
But they warn the boys about the Mexican cartel and El Gato, and he runs the town. And then we get a little background about El Gato. And Brady tries to get the one girl's number, who we learn is Katie, whatever. And she puts it in his phone, I guess, and he tries to call, but it says, boom, 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 whatever. And she says, it doesn't work in Mexico. She says, call me when you get back to America, whatever.
And when they're talking about El Gato Enfermo, a sick cat, there's a lot of foreshadowing there. They're kind of saying what he would do if he got them. And then a lot of those things do happen along the way. So
it does. But it's pretty much what you would expect if any drug cartel guy.
Yeah, it's not anything.
You're
unusual.
Kidnapped by a cartel. That's what's going to happen to you.
Yes, but bag over your head. Like they just kind of say a few specifics that later do happen.
So then they meet the Texan.
Yeah, they're just walking down the street and he's just saying, like he's just naming drugs on the corner, waiting for someone to come up to him, just listing the drugs.
But he says he offers protection for $500. And he's a tour guide, apparently, Karen.
Yes, tour guide and bodyguards.
And Tommy pulls out some cash and he's like, whoa, don't do that. People see you doing that, Yeah, they warn him not to. And he takes him to a cockfight, Karen.
Yeah.
In my notes, I had to say rooster fight because cockfight would have been edited.
I was going to do some background on that, and I was like, nah, I'm not even going to do that. It'll just piss me off. So,
that goes way, way back.
It does, to the 1600s.
Yeah, back to Chicken George and Roots.
It's brutal. I hate it. Anyway.
And then we meet Steven Tyler.
So he's going to show him real Mexico, he says, the Texicali guy. And
Apparently cockfights are real Mexico.
I guess. And then Steven Tyler is there and then cuts the head off a chicken and drips the blood all over himself.
As you do, Karen.
And Brady he appears uneasy. He keeps telling Tommy, I don't want to do this. I want to go. And Tommy's just like, it's your birthday, and your girl cheated. Like, he keeps telling him about his girlfriend. And it's your birthday, and kind of guilts him into it. But like I said, if his girlfriend hadn't cheated, that was very serendipitous for Tommy because he was feeling down. So It was easier to talk him into these things. I wonder if it would have been harder if that hadn't happened.
True.
But obviously that's the writing. So they're going about it, but he's really pressuring him hard.
Tommy promises he will not let anything happen to Brady. Then we see Steven Tyler making them dinner ? I wrote.
Well, I think it's just different drug choices.
Yeah, we see the drugs door 1, cocoa leaves, very mellow, stay up all night, drinking, good for high school kids, do some coke, a little fairy dust, last a while. Those are all the words that flash across the screen. Not all of them, but all the ones I could write down.
So there's 3 levels of drugs.
Yes. And then
1 is for sissies, 2 is for normal people, 3 is way out there, basically.
And we have words to say the drugs door number 2. Intense but not too much. The right amount of opium. Dash of Molly. Touch of peyote root. This is what pops up on the screen. And then we have the drugs door number 3. Menthol SAP, which I don't even know what the hell that is. Fire ants. Oh. Mostly peyote. Godlike experience. Ooh. Probably puke or poop your pants.
Or both. And this is where they say shit your pants a lot in this movie because they'd said it earlier about something else.
And right here I wrote life is full of choices. Did they talk about that?
Yes. Then it just looked like they took a pill. It didn't look like they took any of the stuff that he had laid out there.
No, but they ask about the jars on the shelf. Like, what's that?
Yeah.
That's
they get everybody laughs.
And so I don't know if that's what they took.
Oh,
I think that's what they take.
Okay.
Then we see them walking through the streets.
All of them. The shaman, the tourist guides, and Tommy and Brady. Yeah, all 5 of them.
Like the Lick It Up video.
Oh, God, yes.
Walking through the streets. Like they own it. And the song Lightning Strikes.
Yep.
Plays as they're walking through the streets, which is an Aerosmith song, which is from their album Between a Rock and a Hard Place, which was recorded after Joe Perry and Brad Whitford left the band. So pretty much Steven Tyler was the only one in charge. So I'm sure he has all the publishing and all that bullshit. But I don't know. Jimmy Crespo was the guitar player that replaced Joe Perry. He might have some publishing or writing credit on him for it as well. So good for Jimmy for getting a little money if that's the case. So then we end up in a nudie bar, apparently, Karen, because
Brady
see two
keeps
bare
saying
breasts.
that his teeth are vibrating.
He does.
And he mentions that he took mushrooms. So I don't know. And it's very psychedelic. Like everything's blurry and neon and like nothing looks quite right. But yeah, they end up in the nudie bar.
And it's very acid-like.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but I assume so. Okay. I'll take your word for it. And you're right. 2 breasts. There's a stripper there.
Yeah, 2 breasts. Apparently they were doing mushrooms, I wrote. Brady's freaking out. And then I think we see 2 more bare breasts. I think we have 4 so far.
I think that's the same. Wasn't it the same one?
Is it? I don't know. I'm not sure it is.
Well, you can have 4, but I think it was the same one.
Okay. Maybe she put on a different hat. So then Brady goes to get some tequila.
Yeah, and he's looking pretty high. Like he's looking a little rough. But you can't, this is one part where you can't tell what's real and what's not. They kind of flash in between things.
It flashes, but you know which is real and which isn't, I think. But the bartender tells him about the devil and says, really, he's a good guy. This is what I got out of it, Karen. Really, the devil's a good guy. He just punishes the bad people. That's good. That's what I got out of it. And Brady is freaking out. Bartender makes him a drink, says it'll make him feel better, but Tommy takes it.
And it's tiny little thing in a little tiny vial or something.
A little tiny thing.
Yeah. He says it will help you.
Yeah, I think he makes another one, but then we cut to El Caballo puking and pooping there on the floor.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive acting, considering the ending. If that's unless the drugs really did that to him, I don't know.
And then Brady drinks the drink. So he does drink the drink.
Because the bartender points a shotgun at him and tells him, drink it.
But
So he does.
That's
Unless that's the
That's not
hallucination
happening.
too. And then Brady sees the stripper cut someone's throat, but then Tommy says that wasn't real.
yeah. I wrote madness and mayhem in the bar. Brady's tripping out.
Yeah, it looks like there's a big bar fight, but he's having a bad trip.
They
Definitely.
leave outside. They get out of the bar and they meet the girls from earlier, Katie and Lucia. And they go to their motel room. Not a hotel, a motel. And the girls handcuff them to the beds and they're like, oh, all right.
I said they must be working for the sick cat, is what I said. El Chapo Enferma. No, El Gato.
I didn't know
El
that's what
Gato
that meant.
Enferma,
So
the
I
sick
just
cat.
called him El Gato. I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah, they said the sick cat, Enferma.
Whatever. And then they play horse, which
Like
is an
basketball.
interesting version of horse.
It was silly, stupid, kind of
They're like kind of daring each other to do something to the guys, right?
punching and more.
Well, no, that's not where it starts. But
True.
then we see there's a camera in the room, a closed circuit TV camera. So we get the feeling that someone's watching all the time.
She says, oh, it's broken. They used to make movies in here, but now it's broken.
So then they punch them. And then I wrote they stabbed Brady with something. Was it like a needle or something?
Yeah, I think they
Drugged him.
drugged him. But he does say it's his birthday. So
Did they drug him with whatever Tommy's allergic to, which he keeps screaming about?
well, that's what, yeah. Because he says when they're back at Steven Tyler's abode, then he says, I can't take any of the sedative stuff. I'm allergic to it. So they do set us up for that. And then Brady's going out, but he sees Tommy having an adverse reaction to whatever was happening.
Yeah, and they wake up in the morning. Lucia injects them with something, and I wrote Tommy is allergic ? Because I think he starts puking and shit. Then we see
Yeah.
Lucia with a gun. Tells Brady to listen to them, and everything will be okay. I wrote Tommy's not looking good, and Brady's in the closet, looking out through the slats in the closet. Whatever. So then Brady gets out of the closet and he hits his head on the bedpost.
Well, she pours tacks in front of the closet. So his feet are bound and his arms, so he can only walk out on his knees. And then he does, and they stick him and he reacts, falls, and smashes his head on the bedpost and knocks himself out.
So then the girls arrive. I guess they were gone when this happened, and they put Brady in bed. He's hogtied, Karen. And we see news reports on the TV of El Gato kidnapping tourists for ransom. Then all of a sudden, the room is full of locals. I said, taking photos and shit. And is Brady like anally raped here or something?
That's why I couldn't tell if it was real or not. But they've got Tommy and they're taking pictures with him, and it looks like Brady's raped.
I didn't even know that was Tommy.
Oh yeah, they drew a penis on him and they're taking pictures, and his it's like Weekend with Bernie, I would guess.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him because I guess he was topless or whatever. I didn't know. Then Lucia ungags Brady and he spits in her face. He wants to know where Tommy is. Girls receive a call and apparently someone is watching on camera because they look up to the camera as they're talking in the phone, and something about money in 48 hours and they have nothing to worry about. Whatever. So I guess they want money in 48 hours. And then we get some background about El Gato. This is where all
Lucia
the
tells
homophobic shit comes in, right?
Well, he's the third son of the third son.
So says you.
Any eldest is supposed to take over, but he was horrified that he thought his eldest was gay, which isn't good if you're a Mexican cartel guy. So he set up a torture chair where a string was tied to the trigger of a gun all the way up. That's all it says. Like she just stops right there, right?
I don't know. Well, she finishes later.
Yeah, but she stopped there.
Okay. So then Brady tries to reason with Katie. I guess Lucia leaves.
Those two had nice chemistry, Katie and Brady, I thought.
Oh, yeah, I did too.
It was believable chemistry.
Yeah, they make a good couple. Katie gives them some water. They start talking about music and
they diss Eminem and talk about Led Zeppelin and the Stones. And she does her cool girl knowledge about rock.
Yeah.
You
Because
know,
they ripped off the African American blues artist just like Eminem did, which is true. They didn't really rip them off, but
it's just she's the cool
played their
girl.
music. But yeah. Then Brady again tries to reason with Katie.
He's like, I'm adopted. My
Yeah.
mom has no money and my dad hates me.
And Katie seems worried or appalled, I wrote. Like, fuck. Oh, fuck. So then Brady hears that Tommy was left in the dumpster once Lucia comes back and he gone. And then they inject Brady with something again and he has flashbacks of he and Tommy. So he thinks Tommy's dead. So then we see Lucia torturing Brady.
Yeah, he wakes up and he's naked and she's pouring honey on him.
And like beans
then
or some shit.
Well, no, chicken food.
Chicken feed. I don't know.
Yeah.
And chickens come in, and then right before they get to Brady, Katie comes in and shoots the chicken.
One. There's like 5 of them come in,
Yeah.
but she shoots one.
Well, I'm sure the noise would scare the others off. Katie tells Lucia that she's screwed up. Tommy was the one with the money. Brady has nothing. And we get more info about El Gato and his gay brother.
Yeah. So the string was tied to a trigger of a gun, and it was also tied to his brother's penis. And then the dad brought in a TV and put gay porn on it. So if he gets an erection, he shoots himself.
Which Dad just happened to have. Dad just happened to have some gay porn.
Jeff's
handy.
just laying around. And his brother saw him die.
So then I wrote, Brady and Lucia have a moment.
Here's where I said, he looks awfully good for being tortured. Like, he looks fine.
He's not tortured, though.
Yeah,
Really?
they've been doing.
He's never tortured.
Well, but they're supposed to be.
The worst thing that happened to him is that he got tacks in his knees and he hit his head.
Well, and they're drugging him.
Oh, yeah, but
and they're threatening him with they threaten him with the chickens. That doesn't happen. Everything stops right at a point where it's going to happen. But they give the illusion that they're going to torture him, but he looks completely fine and rested. He doesn't look like he's staying up all night. He's just
good looking kid.
Yeah, he's his handsome self. And this right now is when I said, right here in my notes, this is all made up. Like that other movie that I can't remember.
You're better than me. I was all in. I just go with it.
He looked fine. And I was like, no, they're not doing anything to him.
You have more of an analytical mind than I do, apparently.
But I wasn't 100% sure. But this is where I started thinking, this isn't real. You know,
we learned that both Lucia and Brady were in foster care, supposedly. And Lucia tells a story about William, who was raised as Willie, because they cut William's manhood off or whatever and raised him.
He was raised as Wilma.
Wilma.
She called her friend Willie, but it was short for Wilma. But it was a botched circumcision in Puerto Rico, I think she said. Oh, no. And then he was raised as Wilma, but then he didn't have a Willie. Then he started to behave like a boy and get urges. And that's not, and for some reason that was a horrible thing. I don't know.
Then Brady tells Lucia his story. There was a kid in a padded room. Kid used his big toenail to slit his own wrists. And Lucia says, well, the kid's got determination. Then Brady reveals that it was him.
And he like cold cocks her with his head.
Butts her in the head and breathes himself. Runs out of the motel. And right here, as you said, the plan could have been let him escape. Whatever. Somehow let him escape. So they could have planned for that. You know what I mean? Tommy could have.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he runs out of the motel, tries to make a getaway in the pickup truck. It doesn't get very far.
He's in underwear, women's underwear, I think, at this point. I said I would have grabbed something. And I don't know if she said it. If she didn't say it earlier, she says it in a little bit. I think she said it earlier that he's surrounded by desert and he'd freeze to death.
He'd freeze to death.
So I looked up temperature extremes are
could have stripped her down and took her clothes, Karen.
Of most deserts. In some deserts, temperatures rise so high that people are at risk of dehydration and death, which they can be over 100 degrees. At night, these areas cool quickly because they lack insulation provided by humidity and clouds, and temperatures can drop to 4 degrees Celsius, which is pretty damn cold. I don't know if you could burrow down in the sand, if that would be warm from being heated all day or not. But just thinking about how to
It's
survive.
probably cold underneath the top layer.
But
But
when
could insulate you probably.
But he's walking. He took some sugar candy from the truck that was in the glove compartment, which is why the truck was there, because it only went about 3 feet before it stopped. So that was part of the plan. You're right. It was probably he was supposed to escape at some point. But the sign says he's got 5 miles to the border, and it looks like it's mid-afternoon. You can walk a mile in, what would you say, 20 minutes?
20 minutes, yeah.
And if you're scared that someone's after you, probably a lot faster than that.
Probably.
So that's like an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half to get to the border. And all of a sudden, it takes him so long. And he's walking along a road. It's not like he's walking in the middle of the desert, trying to use the North Star as guidance or something. He's on the road. So that was kind of weird, because they definitely show the sign that it's 5 miles. If it had said 50 miles or even...
That's the next thing I have. Brady walking towards the U.S. border 5 miles.
He could have made it.
Yes,
he doesn't have any ID or anything, so it would have been a hard sell at the border.
That's what I was thinking. So I wasn't thinking about he can make it. I was thinking about, well, how the hell is he going to get in the country when he gets there? He's got no IDs.
But he could have
fucking
called
underwear.
He could call someone.
Could he?
But yeah,
he's already tried to call people.
Not yet.
Oh, okay. So then Brady stops the car.
It is starting to get cold because he's in underwear.
Yeah. Stops the car, and it's Steven Tyler, or Kasape Suka, picks him up.
There's a dead person
like,
wrapped.
Is there a body wrapped in a blanket next to them?
Yeah, he's like, don't mind my friend.
And Brady tells him he works for a movie company. And then they discuss Darth Vader and racism in films and Rocky.
It goes on for a while.
It's interesting, though.
Yeah.
So then Steven Tyler pulls over and gives Brady some advice and directs him to a phone.
And throws a pair of pants at him. And it's a full moon, I did notice. He says, walk a mile in that direction. There's a phone there to the office. But at this point, he is probably a mile from the U.S. border. I would have went to the border, but whatever.
And now think about it. He's walking towards the border, and the car is coming towards him. He gets in the car, so he is going back the other way in the car. But the car takes him right back to the fucking motel, right?
Yes. He ends up, he walks. Well, he drops him off, and he walks all the way there, and it's the hotel.
It's the motel.
Motel, sorry, yes.
He gets on the phone and tries to call police, but yeah, shadows outside, and the phone goes dead.
Yes, you can tell it's like, hello, can I help you? You know, it's like not going outside the motel, sorry.
So then he makes his way to a payphone he sees down the end of a hall. He picks it up, but the music he hears is the same that was playing in the room earlier when they were torturing him.
Yes.
Then he begins beating on the payphone, and Lucia runs in with her gun. And we see Brady tied up again.
So stop for 1 second, just because I'm going to get this last thing in. I was wondering a couple things. First, how many Americans are kidnapped in Mexico? So I have information from 2021. About 300 to 400 cases involved Americans, but most of them are green card holders or dual citizens. But it's a pretty high number. And where do you think, as an American, I've got a list of like 10 countries you don't want to go to. Why don't you guess 2?
Well, let me see right here, Karen. After
most dangerous, do not travel.
This film is why I do not go to foreign countries. I've been to Canada a couple times, and that is the only country I'm comfortable going to.
You wouldn't go to England or Ireland?
No. So that means I got to fly a long way over the ocean.
Okay, well, that's different then.
So
there's a long list of countries.
Mexican's probably up there. Mexico is probably up there.
Not at level 4. I think that's level 3 or 2. Might be 2. Of course, you have to realize there are sections of every country.
Iraq. Iran.
Yes.
Everyone who hates us. Let me see. Let me count them.
Afghanistan, Central African Republic, Haiti, Iran, Iraq, Libya, Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, Venezuela, and Yemen are all most dangerous. Do not travel to these countries.
Because they're pissed at us. kind of
Probably
makes you
should.
wonder, Karen, why do we piss so many people off?
You want me to answer that?
Okay, maybe it's a rhetorical question. That's that's as much politics as I get into.
That's why I'm not going to answer it.
All right. Next morning. Oh, no, wait. Brady tied up again. Katie tells Brady he needs to wait until Lucia takes her shower and then he can try to escape.
They're setting up his escape now.
So the next morning, he grabs his cell phone while Lucia and Katie are sleeping in the same bed. But all his contacts have been deleted, which made me stop and think. I'm like, fuck, who could I call if I didn't have their contact
I don't
information?
know
by
very
phone?
many phone numbers anymore.
I could call my wife.
Yeah.
I could call my old home number.
Yes.
Which isn't, well, maybe in service. I don't know. Probably someone else got it now.
That's probably I don't even know my kids' phone numbers.
I don't either.
I have them written down.
I don't have to remember them because it's in my phone.
And I know, but yeah, I know my husband's number and that's
I know
it.
my wife's and I know work. I can call work.
Well, that's got a lot of people there. That would be helpful.
That's true.
But that's a very relatable problem that he
It
had.
is.
Because he's like, shit.
And I was like, shit, who would I call? I don't know my son's number. I don't know my daughter's number. I don't know my best friend's number. I don't know your number.
You mean I'm not your best friend? God damn it. Move on. Move on, Greg. Move on.
I was just saying that so, in case people didn't know.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So then he tries.
Just that was, well, just not to hound the point, but it was very relatable.
It was.
If you were panicked, you'd be like, shit. I don't know anyone's number. It was a poignant pop culture display, I thought. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So then he tries to remember a phone number, and then they didn't delete all of his texts apparently so he tries to text a friend asking for help, and then Lucia wakes up and slaps the phone out of his hand. And then we get more background on El Gato, and apparently he shot his father in the face for
what he saw was his brother
killing his brother.
His brother just killed himself. So instead of letting the whole thing play out,
his dad killed him.
Well, yes, but he triggered it before anything even started. He pushed it with his toe or something and killed himself. And then El Gato Infirma grabbed the 45, I think he said, and shot his father in the face. And ever since that day, all of Mexico has been scared to death of El Gato Infirma. And he's coming here to kill you. Katie apologizes and says it wasn't supposed to be you.
And she seems to help Brady try to escape, I wrote again. And then Brady tries to reach a gun, but he can't. Well, he's going about it all wrong, Karen.
I know he was.
I would have reached that gun.
Pull the bed sheet.
Yes.
Pull the comforter. What's wrong with you?
Whatever. So then a man enters singing some Mexican tune. It sounded familiar like too, but I didn't know what
almost like the
was.
Bandito. Wait.
Yes.
I am the Frito Bandito.
Bandito. Yeah.
Which is.
Then the man starts talking about American movies and father-son relationships and gives us a little info about kidnapping men who have not been raised by their fathers. Wow.
Well, he's punishing bad fathers, basically.
He's
because of his background.
Yeah, apparently he's got some, grand scheme. He's justified.
Yeah, against fathers who didn't pay attention to their sons. And then he talks about how all great things were made by men because they were trying to impress their fathers.
And Brady tells him, call my boss. Elgato says, I did call your boss. He said he would not pay.
He said, go fuck yourself.
Yep.
Which is pretty definitive.
And Elgato says, since he was small, he has punished the bad guys, which makes him a good guy, which goes back to our devil analogy earlier, Karen.
Yes, from the bar.
Which I didn't connect until just now. So then he pulls a gun. Elgato does. He's getting ready to shoot Brady, and then his cell phone rings. He says, oh, sorry, excuse me. And it's something about his grandson in preschool. And right here is where I started getting suspicious. Just a little too convenient. And he leaves the motel room.
His preschool grandchild has stabbed someone again.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
I didn't even hear what it was. And as he's leaving, he turns and says, I love American boys. So then Lucia comes out of the
And I
bathroom.
write again, this is some big setup for his birthday.
I'm not that clever. And then Lucia comes out of the bathroom. Apparently she's been there the whole fucking time. I didn't even know.
And he's trying to get the gun. I'm like, pull the
But
bedspread.
Brady does get the gun and he pulls it on Lucia and he shoots her in the gut. And she gone. I guess he could have been aiming for the head. We don't know.
She looks at him and says, that wasn't supposed to be loaded. And she falls to the ground.
And she was reaching for the phone that was ringing when he shot her. So he runs and picks up the phone and sees that it's Tommy calling. And Tommy, he answers. And Tommy tells him the whole thing was a joke. It was a birthday prank. And then apparently he's on the way there because he like walks right in the door right after that. And Tommy starts blaming Brady for killing Lucia.
He's hanging him out to dry. What? You're in trouble because Brady says, we're in big trouble. He goes, I didn't shoot anybody. You did.
It's true. But Tommy does come up with a plan. They're going to contact the Texan. He can help them.
Texicali, I think they call him, or Mexican. I don't remember.
The Texican.
Yeah.
So then Brady says, well, I'm going to take a shower. And then he has flashbacks about his cheating girlfriend as he's in the moldy, grimy shower.
I wouldn't have taken a shower. Like Tommy says, go take a shower. You're filthy. So Brady goes in there. I was like, I would not. He just shot. I was like, that doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
Might take my gun with me.
I know, exactly.
Even though it's.
I wouldn't trust anyone at this point if it was true. You know, I wouldn't know who to trust.
Then the Texican arrives and Brady tells his story. Girls tortured him. Texican tell him, this is not good. This is not good. And ask them, what are they going to do? What are you going to do when Katie comes back? There's no self-defense in Mexico.
Mexico, yeah.
Texican tells them to wrap up the girl in the blanket and they will carry her out and put her in the pickup truck.
Which luckily isn't unusual at this motel.
No. Just then Katie arrives with balloons. Happy birthday. And they put her in a body bag and throw her in the back of a trunk, in the back of the truck. Tommy tells Brady he had the whole thing planned. The gun was not supposed to be loaded. He says it will all work out. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
And I'm like, he's very calm. It's going to be fine. They're going to go get the rocket.
But Tommy, see, I was buying in because Tommy is overconfident. You know?
Yeah, Tommy does seem like a guy that's had things go his way his whole life.
So then they drive to the Mexican border to, like you said, the rocket. A truck pulls up with a huge slingshot ? I wrote.
Catapult is what I called it.
Yeah, and then they slingshot a goat over the border. And I wrote test run ?
Yes. And then the guy's like, yeah, it works.
Yep, we're good. And then the Texican says that Mexicans care more about a dead American girl than Americans care about dead Mexicans. So they need to clean up their mess. But then Brady would like to say some words over Lucia first. He wants to have like a little memorial service for the girl that kidnapped and tortured him.
Yes, and he shot.
Which is weird when I say it. So Tommy asks the Lord for forgiveness for Lucia, whatever. Then Brady asks about Katie. He wants to let her go. Texican says she is collateral damage. He gives Brady a gun and tells him he will have to kill her too. He refuses.
But then Tommy steps up, right?
Yeah. Brady apologizes to Katie. She says she understands, and then Tommy fires 3 bullets into her. Then Brady goes after Tommy. They're going to fight. But the big dude, El Cabello, you know what that means? Stops them.
Cabello, I think is how you say it. But whatever.
I don't know. You know what it means?
2 L's or a Y? No, I don't know.
2 L's.
Has a Y sound.
Cabello.
It has a Y sound.
Then we see Brady carrying bodies. We're back to the beginning of the film. We're back to where
they're going to put him. They're going to put her in the catapult.
And he apologizes to Lucia as he sets her down, and
then she coughs.
Just like at the beginning.
Yeah.
And she is still alive. And then Lucia laughs, and she shows him the blood pack. Like, don't you work in the movie business? Haven't you ever seen one of these? And then Katie climbs out of the body bag. She's fine as well. And then Tommy yells, happy birthday. It was all a prank. But apparently his girlfriend cheating on him was real, Karen.
Yes. He was like, Was it? He asks about that, and Tommy's like, "Nope, that was
Nope.
real."
Sorry, dude.
And he says it's his. Tommy says it's my script.
Yep. And we cut to like the movie poster and it says story by Tommy Quinn. And then we see Brady in the truck reading the script. And Katie and Brady hug. He asks if he will see her again. Or he says he will see her again. And Katie tells him happy birthday. And the Texican gets in the truck and begins to drive them away. Brady asks Tommy when his birthday is, and it's in August, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have credits with bloopers.
Yeah,
Which I love bloopers in the
I
credits.
do like blue. I do like bloopers too.
And then the end.
I don't think I'd be friends with Tommy anymore. I don't know. I wouldn't trust him ever again.
I wouldn't either, probably. I might start carrying a knife with me all the time, though, or a gun, a real gun that I know is loaded, just in case. And you could always say, in case this comes up again, hey, this is my gun. I know it's loaded. What are you
Don't
gonna
be
do?
responsible for someone getting murdered.
I don't want to kill you, but I will. All right. What'd you think of your chocolate birthday cake?
My slice
shot?
of chocolate cake. I really like this one.
Mine is evaporated.
You're
I-
two. You're
if my-
double.
Yes, my two. If I had a long enough tongue, I would go in there and lick all the icing or lick all the whipped cream. But no.
Yes. Where's your Gene Simmons tongue when you need it?
Indeed. Yes,
Did you like it? You said
did.
you'd like
I-
more chocolate.
I would maybe
Up
if
the
there was a
hazelnut,
little-
maybe.
or maybe add a dash of chocolate liqueur instead of the whipping cream,
Or you could line the
or
The-
Godiva, chocolate liqueur.
yeah. You could line the inside with chocolate syrup. That
I
might
mean, I
do
like
it
the
too.
hazelnut,
That's what gives it the chocolate flavor, I think.
probably because
Maybe I've had
It's
more
vanilla
Nutella than
vodka
you. Because that's hazelnut.
yes, I've had Nutella, Karen,
I liked it.
way back when.
Well, see, it's still around here though, because I have kids.
I know it
so-
is.
No, I mean in my home.
Yes, yes,
Because
yes, I know.
I have, well, one's older than teenage boys, but they eat that shit on everything. So
Okay, yeah, it was good. Like I said, I'd like if it was a bit more chocolate, but yeah, I ain't mad. It's evaporated. Anything we learned today, Karen?
where not to travel, how many kidnappings there are in Mexico on average, whether Mexicali is safer than Tijuana, where Mexicali is, and what the temperature extremes in the desert are. Not a whole lot, but there wasn't a whole, well, I don't know.
Yeah, wasn't. I mean, it's very.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
I guess I could have talked about the different drugs, but
I mean, there's not. Yeah, could have
I
talked
don't
about
want that on my search history.
peyote.
Yeah, like what each one of those does, but because that was a lot of the film.
What was there? Cocoa leaves, Coke, same thing. Cocoa leaf and Coke, same shit. And opium,
You said Molly,
peyote. I don't know what menthol SAP is. I'm gonna have to look that shit up. Menthol SAP.
making a note right now.
Because it gives you a godlike experience, Karen.
Yeah, but isn't that what also makes you shit your pants and puke? Not sure that's
Could,
a good
it could,
trade-off. I
could.
guess it's if you're lucky to be chosen to have a
But,
godlike
you know,
experience.
I already have a god complex, so
Yeah, you live that every day.
I'll be
Greg.
fine.
You don't need a drug for that. All right, we're moving on to the next one. That's your choice.
Oh, is it? Is it my choice?
Well, it's not your birthday.
It's not. My birthday is way far away, which explains why you're so much older than me. The film I have chosen, Karen, is The Seventh Sign from 1988.
Ooh. Why did you choose that one?
Our next episode comes out April. Damn, it's April already, Karen. April 3rd. And Seventh Sign came out April 1st, April Fool's Day. So we're
Cool.
celebrating its anniversary way back in 1988. Remember 1988, Karen?
Yes.
Was that your glory years?
That's getting closer to my glory years.
Closer?
Yes.
Over or under?
Over.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't remember. Did I even have glory years?
Starring Demi Moore.
You have a drink?
I do, Karen.
Excellent. What is it?
It's called The Seventh Seal.
Sure that applies.
She's like, know how to make it.
Yes, I would. I was waiting for you to tell me. What do I need to make
right.
it?
The recipe calls for, I'm going to tell you all the shit the recipe calls for, and I'll come back to it later. 2 ounces of advocat liqueur, 5 ounces of Sprite, 1.5 ounces of lemon juice, 2 ounces of crushed ice, and 6 ounces of ice cubes. So if you cannot find advocat liqueur, which is like a special thing, I don't know, whatever. You can substitute eggnog, Irish cream, or rum chata.
Just regular rum chata?
That's what it says.
Okay.
So we're going to fill a highball glass to the top with ice cubes, pour in 2 ounces of the advocat liqueur, or whatever you substitute it with, top with Sprite and stir gently, top with crushed ice, and then garnish with a lemon wedge. Oh, so it's not lemon juice, it's a lemon wedge. There you go. 7th seal.
Okay.
Have you ever seen it before, Karen?
I have not.
I have.
I think I might have seen pieces of it, but I'm not sure. Is she pregnant?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I've seen pieces.
Yeah, we see her naked in the tub.
Don't remember that, but
Yeah, we do.
I think I've seen in a church or something.
It was a big deal. It was a big deal. She was like naked in a bathtub, pregnant. People made
Was
a
she
big
actually
deal of it.
pregnant?
Yes.
Because she had that famous magazine cover when she was pregnant.
All right. Anyone you need to thank this week, Karen?
Let's see. I'm going to go with our listener. There's a lot of podcasts out there. Thank you so much for spending time with us. What about you, Greg? Who are you going to thank?
Karen, I need to once again thank the great people of the Buckeye State.
I'd say go Bucks, but I don't. I say go Bearcats. Lots of downloads from Ohio.
Yes. Buckeye State.
Well, it should be people we know. You would think there would always be a lot of downloads in Ohio.
Yeah, you would think Ohio would come through first every week, but
yes,
it doesn't, Karen. Shocking. And the band Verse 13 for providing all the music in the Scary Spirits podcast.
The music definitely makes the podcast better.
Anything else, Karen?
Please drink responsibly.
Yes.
Hey, it's Karen, and I'm here to talk to you about getting social with us. Did you know you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Scary Spirits Podcast? Or check out our website, scaryspirits.com. If you have something to say, email us at info@scaryspirits.com. And as always, thanks so much for listening. Please drink responsibly.